Let's get it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the SchuZ Show. Hope you guys are having a phenomenal Thursday, or if you guys are tuning in on a Friday, hopefully you guys are having a great Friday as well. All right. With that being said, though, we got a lot to get on to tonight's show. Now, as always, though, before I get into anything else, if you guys have anything you guys want me to discuss or address on tonight's show, make sure to leave it in the chat, and I'll make sure to address those comments on the show. Have your guys' comment pop up on the screen as well. So we'll be getting into that, but we have a fight preview because there is a fight card going down tomorrow night. Also, I'll be getting into some boxing news that's come out over the past 24 hours as well. So without a further ado, let's get right to it now. A fight preview for tomorrow. I'm going to break down two fights actually on the card. It is going to be the UFC Fight Pass where you can go watch. It's a fight night card, and that's going to be between UMAR, DZAMBEKOV, and ARTEM, BRUSOV. Now, interesting fight here. UMAR, someone that's been on the show before. He's a very good fighter. I think he's going to have an easy victory here, so we'll see that one happen. Then the co-main event, Cain Sandoval versus Gino Rodrigo. Cain Sandoval continues to build himself up. He's also been on the show previously. He's a solid rising prospect as well. I think he's a little bit of time off still from being a legitimate contender, but he's still firmly in the mix right there. He will be on the card as well. So those two guys will be fighting, as well as multiple other guys on a fight card tomorrow night on UFC Fight Pass. Make sure to go check that out. Let's get to boxing news now. Late last night, it is actually right after the show concluded, news came out saying this, that Manny Pacquiao and Romero are finalizing a deal to fight next in Las Vegas. Y'all hear that? So Manny Pacquiao, the man that's already been inducted into the Hall of Fame, is now going to be fighting 2 times in 1 calendar year, once again for another championship right here. This is going to be huge for him. Now, I think this was always the fight we always expected. If you and I were discussing, I've said this time and again, that Romero versus Manny Pacquiao always made the most sense. In my personal honest opinion, this should be a fight right now where Manny Pacquiao currently has the world championship. I thought he beat Mario Barrios in that fight. It is what it is. However, he did not win the fight on July 19th, so therefore he's still not world champion. He has another opportunity now to do so against Romero. This should be an interesting fight. Who do I think would win this fight? It's going to be very, very interesting. But Manny Pacquiao and Romero are now finalizing a deal to fight in Las Vegas. This fight is expected to be by the end of the calendar year. Massive hats off. For Manny Pacquiao, as I've said, do I think he should still be fighting? I think he should have probably stayed retired just for the own personal safety of himself. Yes. That being said, does that mean that what he's doing right now is not impressive? No. What he's doing right now is incredibly impressive. Very few guys and very few people have ever been able to do what Manny Pacquiao is doing. He's living proof of why he is one of the all-time greats and is one of the greatest mentalities of any athlete to ever fight or compete in any type of sports. Manny Pacquiao is a phenomenal person. He's a phenomenal athlete, and he's proving it right now. Manny Pacquiao should not have been able to come back from retirement, already in the Hall of Fame at his age, and even been competitive with Mario Barrios. Now, Mario Barrios is probably one of the worst world champions in all boxing right now. However, Manny Pacquiao, at his age, being out of the ring for that long, should never have been even competitive with Mario Barrios, let alone should have won that fight, as I think he should have done. So therefore, all I can say is this. Is Romero probably going to be the favorite heading into this fight? Sure. But we can't discredit Manny Pacquiao. This man not just proved everybody wrong on July 19th, where I think the vast majority of people in the world think he beat Mario Barrios in that fight. He's proven people wrong time and again, and let's be honest, can he do that against Romero once again now at the end of the year? Absolutely. So yes, Romero might go into this fight as the betting favorite, but you cannot write Manny Pacquiao off. Even though he's at his age, even though he's taken a lot of damage in his career, Manny Pacquiao is still Manny Pacquiao. He has a will about him that's unlike so many people, and most people in the entire world, where he does not give up. He's always going to put on a show, and he's going to make the best of the situation. And somehow, miracles seem to come out of that performance when he steps in a ring and does what he needs to do. So, don't write this man off when he steps in that ring against Romero. I think he has a chance. He could very well become world champion once again. And I'm actually excited for this fight. It's going to be a very interesting fight, a fun build-up process. But with that being said, yes, both Manny Pacquiao and Romero are now finalizing a deal to fight next in Las Vegas. The October 25th event, headlined by Sebastian Fundora and Keith Thurman, and Stephen Fulton and Oshaki Foster, will be a PBC pay-per-view on Prime. All right, we already knew that was going to be the case, but let's go to the details. The pay-per-view price will be $74.99. Seriously? Like, seriously. Come on, PVC. You're telling me that you're going to be charging us $75 to watch Keith Thurman and Sebastian Fundora fight? Oh my gosh. How? This is the problem with boxing. I'll say this over and over again. How are you going to put yourself in a position as a promotional company to keep charging these exorbitantly high pay-per-view prices for fights that, quite frankly, probably shouldn't even be pay-per-view? This is what continues to hinder the sport of boxing so badly. When we are charging fans, let's just be honest. Okay, let me just point this out there. I'm going to go all in on this right now. When we're talking about most fans out there, the casual fan or a person that has never watched boxing in their life, they don't know who Sebastian Fundora is. They probably don't know who Keith Thurman is. They maybe know who Stephen Fulton is or Shaki Foster. They probably don't know who he is. Now, us boxing fans, we absolutely know who those guys are. They're phenomenal fighters. But what I'm trying to get at right now is that the general fan does not know who they are. And that's why I truly do believe that pay-per-view events should only be for the people that everybody will tune in for, regardless of who they are. A Conor McGregor type of guy when it comes to UFC, a Floyd Money Mayweather, a Mike Tyson, an Anthony Joshua, or something along those lines in this era, especially in the UK market. You know, there are certain guys in certain markets that you can do them for. But when we're talking about these types of guys, these are not pay-per-view stars. Let's just be honest. Sebastian Fundora is not a pay-per-view star. I love Fundora. I think he's a phenomenal fighter. He is not a pay-per-view star. And so when we're charging fans $75 to watch this type of card, it is going to only hurt the sport of boxing, because those casual fans and those fans that don't really know boxing, they are not going to be paying $75 for somebody that they don't know who they are. You know what they would do? They could go flip their TV channel, they see some fights going on, and they'll sit down and go watch Stephen Fulton and O'Shaki Foster, and they're going to watch one heck of an incredible fight go down, and then they're going to become fans of boxing. And then they're going to stick around and watch the main event between Sebastian Fundora and Keith Thurman, which should be a very fun fight. But they're going to stick around, and they'll watch that, and then they become fans of these guys. But all you're doing by putting up these pay-per-view walls time and again is saying, guess what? I'm not going to allow fans to grow and get to watch these guys. The only sport in the world that does this, remember. Combat sports are the only ones that do this. And very soon, boxing will be the only one, because UFC is going to be transitioning now into a non-pay-per-view structure on January 1st. Only sport in the world. Every other sport, they have nationally televised games where fans can go out there and watch these guys and they fall in love with them. Football, basketball, soccer, you name it. But when it comes to the sport of boxing, we want to gatekeep every single fighter. And guess what? You want to know why boxing is struggling in the United States of America? This is why. This is why it's not growing and the fan base is shrinking and other sports are surpassing boxing over and over again. So there we have it. Yes, October 25th, a solid card. You will be having to you will have to pay them $75 to watch it. Absolutely ridiculous. Jai OPETAIA versus BRUSOV could go down on January 31st. Remember, yesterday I talked about the fact that Jai OPETAIA has now been finalized to be fighting in December 7th, I believe, to be specific. And now we have rumors that possibly about 6 weeks later, Jai OPETAIA could be returning to the ring once again on January 31st in a unification fight with BRUSOV. Mick Francis says this, the manager of Jai OPETAIA. I went to Vegas 2 weeks ago and had some really good talks with Pacqiao Sheik over there, as well as about getting BRUSOV fight. January 31st in Saudi Arabia is the date that we've been given. As I keep saying, things change all the time. All right now. That's what I like to hear. We know the Zurdo fight's not happening. Get that off your ideas, your mind. It's not happening until late 2026 if it ever happens. But the BRUSOV fight's the one we've all been talking about. He owes Noel McEmalian that fight. Obviously, it was a very, very controversial decision there. They're going to have a rematch, supposedly. There's a chance, though, that either that fight gets they get obviously paid Noel McEmalian to step aside, whatever the case may be. But it appears that we actually could possibly be getting a unification with Jai OPETAIA. Here's the situation at hand. OPETAIA is going to run through Sislak very quickly, very easily in December. That's not a competitive fight. We all know what's going to happen in that situation. Here's what we could see come to fruition, though. He could go through that fight very quickly, turn around in about a month and a half, 2 months, and go finally become or get another belt and unify the belts. This is what we all want. I think he would destroy BRUSOV with quite ease. However, this is a situation at hand, and I'm very excited to see what could happen there. Janibek versus Lara Unification is possible. A 3-belt middleweight title unification bout between Janibek and Janibek-Lara is reportedly in play for the next PBC pay-per-view card, expected to be headlined by Pitbull Cruz and Lamont Roach in December. All right. Now, this is what I like to see. We've been talking about Janibek and Adames for a very long time. That's still the fight I personally do want to witness. However, I think when we see this news coming out that Janibek is going to be involved in the unification fight, but not involving Adames, I think it gives us all a lot of clarity here. All this time, it appears that Adames has been the one ducking Janibek. It is what it is. Janibek clearly wants to unify. That's why he's going to go with the other champion and Lara, and they're going to go fight each other now. It's not official, but it's in talks and it's progression. So it makes you wonder, who was holding up the Janibek versus Adames fight? I have to assume it was none other than Carlos Adames. Quite a shame as well, because that was a great fight to have happen. Adames lost his chance. I don't know what he's going to do from now, because there's nobody else you're going to get a payday from at 160. So now we could have unification here, and this is a huge fight. Personally, I think it's a better fight than Pitbull Cruz versus Lamont Roach. I think it's a phenomenal fight, so if that is co-main event, I'm all for it. That being said, though, there's one more point I want to bring up. Do you guys see what could be happening right now? There was a video announced by Turki Al-Sheikh. He posted that Terrence Bud Crawford is actually visiting Turki Al-Sheikh in Saudi Arabia right now. Can I give you guys a little insight right now? I think it could be happening. I don't think Bud Crawford is going to fight too many more times in his career. What I do think Bud Crawford will do is do a homecoming fight for his final fight of his career in Nebraska. Maybe he has 2 fights left in him. He skipped a weight class. That's 160. You see what could be happening right now? Janibek-Lara unify the belts. That means 3 belts that belongs to either Lara or Janibek at the conclusion of that fight going down in December. Terrence Bud Crawford could easily swoop in there and take 3 of the belts and fight Adames for the 4th one. Or he could go fight Adames and become world champion and go unify with the other guys. The point is this. We are approaching very quickly an opportunity where I think I'm actually more certain, that Bud Crawford could be lining himself up to put himself in position to become undisputed at 160 as well. And that would make his resume even more insignificant. So, absolutely would be huge right there. That's possibly the rumors right there if Janibek and Lara do go down. Speaking of Lamont Roach, that fight between Lamont Roach and Pitbull Cruz, it has been announced that it's going to be for the WBC interim super lightweight title in the main event of a PBC on Prime pay-per-view on December 6th in San Antonio, Texas. PBC has confirmed to ESPN. So those are the official deals. It's going to be for an interim super lightweight title, which is huge. Just to point out there, Lamont Roach started the year off at as a 130-pound world champion. He should become 135-pound world champion when he beat Tank Davis in the fight. And now he has a chance to become 140 interim champion. Essentially having his name tied in some way, shape, or form to a certain belt in 3 different weight classes in 1 calendar year. That would absolutely be an insane year and run for Lamont Roach Jr. So give a lot of props to that man. Last thing I wanted to get into on tonight's show, there's a game-changing deal for British boxing. Riyadh Season has agreed to a major sponsorship with Boxer to support the new era of UK fight nights, delivering big events and hometown stars to millions of viewers on the BBC. I'll be honest, I don't know exactly what this post is going to be looking like in the future. This is a post that was made by Ring Magazine on X, on social media. They brought this up. I'm intrigued by it. Obviously, it could be a sponsorship with Boxer to promoting more fighters, growing them up. I don't know what it's going to look like. Obviously, I've given you guys my thoughts on Boxer. I think it's a solid deal with BBC for the time being, at least, if they do manage it properly. That being said, though, it'll be interesting to see what this Riyadh Season deal is going to end up entailing here. But yes, Riyadh Season and Boxer are now joining together to have some form of a sponsorship together and relationship moving forward. So I don't see any more comments in the comment section for tonight's show. But with that being said, that should wrap tonight's show. I'll be back live for you guys tomorrow to give you guys a fight preview as well as some other things. I hope you guys have a blessed rest of you guys' night. I'll be back live, like I said, tomorrow to wrap the week with you guys. May God bless you guys all. Have a great rest of you guys' day, and I'll see you guys back live tomorrow. God bless you guys all. And with that being said, SchuZ out. God bless you guys.